capable of providing very closed form solutions, which will be a better alternative to predict the temperature distribution, which in turn gives the weld bed geometry. Actually, primarily, we will have problem in our hand. The problems we may have any real world problem in our hand. The real world problem can be solved either two ways, by using two ways. You can go for physical modeling, or you can go for mathematical modeling. Physical modeling, you need to set up experiments. For that, you need to spend a lot of money. And while conducting experimentation, if you forget to measure any parameter, then you need to again conduct the experimentation. So even though experimentation having lot of benefits, but there are a lot of drawbacks also. And moreover, we can say seeing is believing. Hence, there is no substitute for experimentation. So experimentation stands top in all the aspects. And the other way for solving your problem is mathematical modeling. So mathematical modeling, the physics of the particular problem has to be converted into governing equations. The governing equations may be partial differential equation or maybe integral equations. Then this equation have to be solved by using boundary conditions in order to obtain the results. So from the physical problems, when you go for mathematical modeling, you will have governing equation in your hand. Then the governing equation can be maybe a simple governing equation or maybe a complicated governing equation. If the governing equation is very simple governing equations, then that equation can be solved by the knowledge which might have been obtained from our college or school days. So if the governing equation is very complicated, then it is tough to solve. And mostly in engineering or in science, most of the governing equation is second order non-linear, non-homogeneous partial differential equations. So this partial differential equation are tough to solve by using the knowledge what you have gained through your school days. Hence, we need to make use of computers to solve the governing equations. Then using computer to solve the governing equation is called as numerical approach or computational approach. Okay. When you are going to solve the problem pertaining to welding, then the governing equation pertaining to the welding have to be solved. That type of that is termed as computational weld mechanics or computational welding mechanics. Okay. When you want to join any two plates, then you need to obtain the parameters. For example, you need to have correct welding speed. You need to have correct current. Then, if you are dealing with materials which are highly reactive with the environment, then you need to consider the gas flow rates. So that means shielding gas. So you need to have correct parameters in order to obtain a sound weld bead. Okay. So especially for titanium, zirconium, and Inconel, greater care has to be taken while doing welding process, because at elevated temperature, the molten pool can easily react with atmosphere to form oxides. If the formation of oxide is not good during a welding process, hence the atmosphere has to be in the welding has to be properly protected from the environment. So hence, in order to protect the welding zone or molten pool from the environment, you need to create inert atmosphere. The inert atmosphere can be created by using argon or helium or hydrogen, or combination of them can be used for protect the atmosphere. For when you go for welding process, you need to face lot of difficulties while conducting the experimentation. So you need to. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Join.
Sir,
Yeah.
actually, I put progress.
Sir, can you please mute, sir? Vishwamurthy, sir, can you please mute your audio? Yeah? Vishwamurthy, sir. Sorry, sir. Just 1 second. Vishwamurthy, sir.
Sorry.
Yeah, please. Okay, sir. Please. Sorry, sir. Please continue.
Yes, sir. I go on. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Okay. So you need to have a greater care, and you need to spend a lot of money, and you need to spend a lot of materials in order to obtain the optimized welding parameters. And in the process of obtaining, or the process of what I have said, may be applicable for the traditional material what we have used in the earlier days, like stainless steel or aluminum, which are very low cost material. But you know the cost of titanium and Inconel and Sircolloy. So you cannot spend a lot of money, you cannot spend a lot of time, you cannot spend a lot of material to obtain an optimized parameter. Okay, so to obtain an optimized parameter, you can make use of the computational approach. The computational approach by which you can come up with 2 or 3 parameters, and that 2 or 3 parameters can be used for conducting real-time experimentation, which will drastically reduce the number of experiment trials, cost, time, and the manpower. Hence, the computational weld mechanics is one of the better option to go for to get the optimized parameters. Okay. And also, as I said, there is no substitute for experimentation. It's experimental analysis, seeing is believing. But the numerical simulation or computational weld mechanics here may be an alternative method. It's an alternative. It's not a substitute method. It's an alternative method to optimize process parameters. Okay. So the thing is, when you first carry out the numerical simulation, or while first you solve the problem by using computational weld mechanics, you will avoid the experimental trials drastically, and the system itself, you'll be able to model your physical process, and you'll be able to run the heat source in the system, and you'll be able to properly analyze the molten pool, whether you are getting the full depth of penetration or not, and whether the particular strength is achieved or not, whether there will be any formation of residual stresses or not. So these entire things can be analyzed in the system itself. The temperature distribution can be better analyzed in the when you go for computational weld mechanics, and when you go for real-time experimentation, you may not have the equipment to catch that much temperature. The temperature distribution may not be effectively understood, and when you primarily when you concentrate on physical welding trial, then you may not have an idea about the formation of residual stress and the effect of heat inputs. So these can be better understood while you go for computational welding mechanics, or while solving the problem through computational welding mechanics. So what are the steps needs to be followed while go for any any problem using computational mechanics? First, you have to model you have to bring out the governing equation from the physical phenomena. Okay, so you have to thoroughly understand the physics, and the physics has to be converted into mathematical equations. So the mathematical equation, as I said, most of the equation will be partial differential equation, because there may be a lot of parameters. So we have to convert the natural system, the natural physical system, into partial differential equation. Then we have to use the physics to formulate the compliant systems. So how will be the physical system? So what will happen during the particular processes? Okay. Then the mathematical equations have to be converted into the form which is suitable for digital computation. That is called discretization. Okay. See, we might have got the governing equation in our hand. The governing equation may be a partial differential equation. Some case it may be integral equation. Then the governing equation cannot be solved by the computer easily, because the computer does not know anything. So we need to teach the computer. The computer may be knowing only the digital format, maybe zeros and ones. But we need to feed some equation which may be better understood by a computer. Hence, the process of converting the complicated partial differential equation into the understandable form of a computer is called discretization. So here since the computer is capable of understanding zeros and ones, then we can have the algebraic equations. So algebraic equation can be easily understood by a computer. Hence, we need to convert the complicated partial differential equation into a set of algebraic equations. So to convert the complicated partial differential into a set of algebraic equation, there are three standard methods which are being used. One is a finite element method, another is finite volume method, another one is finite difference method. So these are the three standards methods which are being utilized to convert the complicated partial differential equation into the set of algebraic equations. Okay, so finite difference method is simply uses the Taylor series expansion. Simply uses the Taylor series expansions which will not follow any physics and which will not follow any transportiveness, any conservativeness. Hence, the FDM is basically being used. Finite difference method is being basically used for mathematicians or mathematical peoples to understand the physics. And we can go for finite element method or finite volume method. So finite element method is better used for analyzing the structural problems, and finite volume method is better used for analyzing the fluid flow behaviors. Okay, and I want to make one thing: the partial differential equation can be classified into three types. Basically, any equation may be three types. So one may be a propagation problem, another may be what we call equilibrium problems, another may be eigenvalue problems. So any problem in physics and engineering may be of only three types. One is propagation problem, another one is eigenvalue problems, another one is equilibrium problems. So these are the three types of problems. Okay, you take any partial differential equation or any equations that may be falling under these three. And when you take the partial differential equation in engineering or science is a special type. Okay, those special type of partial differential equation is called as quasi-linear partial differential equation. This quasi-linear partial differential equation. Then the partial differential equation can be classified into three: parabolic, hyperbolic, and elliptic partial differential equation. So based on the types of partial differential equation only, you can choose the types of numerical method to convert the partial differential equation to algebraic equations. Okay, so I told you, finite difference method, finite element method, and finite volume method. Okay, so finite volume method, finite element method will be chosen if only the partial differential equation is a elliptic equation. If the partial differential equation is either hyperbolic or parabolic, then you need to go for only FDM, finite difference method or finite volume method. Okay, so in engineering or science, we most probably going with finite element method or finite volume method. Okay, so finite volume method is capable of only solving the elliptical partial differential equation, which is the representative of equilibrium problems. Okay, hence you might have understood. I am saying about equilibrium problems. So equilibrium problems will not influenced by the time. Will not be influenced by time. Okay, for example, you are applying a load on the structure. Then then you have to consider the equations of equilibrium to solve that. Okay, then the finite element method is the only option to solve the equilibrium problems. Okay, and when you get the steady state temperature distribution, hence the time may not be the influencing parameter. Then you have to use the finite element method to solve the problems. Okay, and that's why mostly finite element method is being used to solve the structural problems and used to solve the problem which involves the steady state in nature. Okay, so when you go for finite volume method, so it is being used to solve the fluid flow problem or heat transfer problems. So which can be used to solve either hyperbolic equation or parabolic equation. Parabolic equations. So these three equations are also called as propagation problems. Propagation problems coming under propagation problems. So carefully you go to choose the particular numerical scheme to solve your problems. Okay, so once the computer programs are identified. That means numericals can be identified to convert the partial differential equation to algebraic equation. Then the algebraic equation can be solved by the computer programs because it knows zeros and ones. So these are the things which happens. So we will have physics in our hand. Then the physics has to be converted into mathematical equation. Then the mathematical equation can be converted into algebraic equation by using finite element method or finite volume method or finite number difference method. Then the algebraic equation can be solved by using the computer programs. Then and also you need to have the correct boundary conditions. Boundary conditions is very essential to solve the governing equations. So that also very important. Okay, and also he said the experimentation is highly believable. Seeing is believing. Nothing is equal to experimentation, but the numerical, the modeling, mathematical modeling, either it may be analytical means or it may be numerical means. So they will be helping us to do better experimentation. They are helping us to do better experimentation. So that's why he told. So when you use numerical, that is computational welding mechanics, you will be capable of avoiding drastic numerical. I mean experimentation drastically. Okay. So there is no substitute for experimentation, but we have alternate methods. The alternate methods are either analytical modeling or numerical modeling. This analytical modeling or numerical modeling will be giving or will be helping us to do a better experimentation. And also in some of the places, you cannot go for experimentation straight away. There you have to get the help from the numerical simulation. So the molten pool. So the heat source maybe arc heat source or maybe any beam heat source. So we will be able to know the heat affected zone, and this is the fission zone over which the heat source will be moving in this zone, and this is the heat affected zone. This is unaffected molten material or the substrate material. And I also told in the initial times, I said this computational welding mechanics is helping us to obtain closed form solutions. Okay, so how it is being used for closed form solution, we will see in the forthcoming slides. Okay, so the heat affected zone, when you see the temperature will be high at the molten metal in the weld zone, and the temperature will be low or will be decreasing till the parallel material. Okay, so there will be temperature drop. So the nearer zone is called as heat affected zone. Then there will be unaffected parallel materials. So you need to, if only you understand the physics correctly, then you will be able to get benefit from the computational welding mechanics. You should understand how the welding process happens. So what are the welding parameters, how they are influencing. So that thing needs to be understood correctly. So you need to understand how will be the effect of arc height or arc voltage on the weld pool, how will be the effect of welding current or polarity, how will be the effect of welding speed, how the shielding gas will be affecting, how the electrode diameter preparation and contamination will be playing. Okay, so this needs to be better understood in order to go for computational mechanics. So what type of electrode polarity you are going to use, either negative or positive, or what is the current? Are you going to use direct current electronegative or direct current electrode positive? Then are you going to use the axial cleaning action? So you need to better what type of weld depth you need, whether you want a narrow weld or want a shallow weld. So that thing needs to be better understood. So the amount of energy supplied from the arc or laser beam is same. So the arc energy supply is same. We are going to make utilize of the energy based on the welding speed. Okay. So if you are having increased welding speed, then the heat, you will have a reduction in heat input and vice versa. If you have decreased welding speed, then the heat input will be high. Heat input will be high because the amount of energy supplied is same. Okay, so that needs to be correctly understood and that needs to be correctly utilized. The electromagnetic field and arc pressure may not have that much influence compared to the welding speed, but they will have influence. But compared to welding speed, the welding speed they might have that much influence. So that welding speed will help you to achieve the depth to weld ratio, and it has a great dependency with respect to the towel speed. And generally for normal welding speed, we can have 100 to 500 mm per minute, depending on the current material and types of thickness of the material you're going to use. And shielding gas. Shielding gas is playing a major role when you go for material like titanium, zirconium, or inconel. So you need to properly proper gas flow has to be maintained. Proper gas flow has to be maintained. And as of my knowledge, the argon gas with 99.9% purity is highly used in the either industry and most of the research purposes. And this will help you to avoid the porosity and any contamination, and you can avoid the cracking, scaling, even change in the chemical composition by properly following the shielding gas. And you can have the electrode welding parameters as per the standard, and the commonly used electrode angle maybe you can have 30 to 120, and if you want to, you can have the correct vortex angle and influence of the it will have influence on the weld dimension. Okay, vertex angle will have influence weld dimension, so that needs to be correctly selected for your particular process. And the arc pressure also influenced by the vertex angle. Then the increased arc pressure and the penetration depth can be observed for small angle of electrodes with high tip shape deterioration. Okay, so we may have minus 62 or 120 angle can be maintained for a longevity of the electrode, and the penetration of depth to weight ratio can be better achieved when you properly follow the vertex angle. So welding is a multi-physics problem. Welding is a multi-physics problem which the three types of heat transfer like conduction, convection, radiation are playing a major role. A material is heated, then there will be the influence of latent heat, then material is getting melted, then the liquid molten pool is being formed, then there will be a vaporization of materials, vaporization, and the heat will be communicated with the surrounding by the means of convection, and inside the material the heat will be taken away through only conduction, and any material which is above 0 Kelvin is capable of emitting the heat. Hence, the radiation will also be influencing the welding problems. So we should have the thorough understanding of heat transfer and fluid flow in order to better obtain the benefit of computational mechanics. As I said, so it is a multi-physics problem which has thermal analysis, mechanical analysis, fluid dynamic analysis, and metallurgy. So when it is welded, the material is subjected to high temperature gradients, which may affect the temperature formation. And also the release of latent heat. And the changes in the material property due to the phase transformation affect the temperature. Okay, so that needs to be taken care, need to be understood properly. Okay, so when the material is subject to high temperature gradient, certainly the microstructure formation will be affected. So that needs to be considered, and that will have influence on thermal analysis as well as in the metallurgy. And also, so during the welding process, there will be elastic and plastic deformation. Plastic deformation depend on the microstructure and the deformation, strain and stress arises. Okay, so that needs to be properly taken care. Okay, so elastic and plastic deformation, and also the stresses causes the metallurgical stresses will influence in the metallurgical property. Okay, see, all are interrelated. All are interrelated. So if the temperature gradient affects the metallurgy, and also the release of latent heat will give the what we call will change the material properties, and the heat, because of this heat there will be elastic and plastic deformation, and the stress and strain will be affected, and this will in turn affect the metallurgical property. And the thermal stresses depend on the temperature field through thermal expansions. Okay, so when when the heat source applied in the locally, what will happen according to kinetic theory of gases? The molecules will move away, will have high kinetic energy, and the particle will try to move away from the zone. Okay, and certain locations where the heat may not be felt. Certain locations the heat may not be felt because of that the molecules will have lesser kinetic energy. Because according to kinetic theory of gases, the molecule kinetic energy is directly proportional to temperature. Okay, so the molecules which are being affected by the heat because of the local heating will have the high kinetic energy and will try to move away, and the molecule which does not feel the heat will try to be in the static position, which will restrict the going molecules, because of which there will be a fight between the molecules, which in terms rises as the thermal stresses and is called as residual stress. Okay, so there will be residual stress formation because of the temperature. Okay, so the residual stress formation cannot be avoided after manufacturing or after joining the materials. So that needs to be better understood before joining the welding process. Hence, the numerical analysis will better help you to understand the residual stress formation. So here, as I said, the thermal analysis, the temperature. I said the thermal stresses will be depends on the temperature field, and also the deformation heat due to the strain rates affect the temperature. The deformation due to deformation heat due to the strain rate affect the temperature, and the temperature distribution in the weld pool. The temperature of the weld pool depends on the forced convection. So forced convection. So there may be forced convection, Marani convection, which are highly influencing the which are being highly influenced by the temperature distributions. So that also needs to be understood thoroughly. And the temperature will also affect the convection in the weld pool. Temperature will also affect the convection pool. Therefore, this one affect the weld pool. Okay. And the fluid flow will affect the mechanical properties. Fluid flow will affect the mechanical properties, because the fluid flow affect the shape of the solidified well, and hence the deformation due to the thermal contraction will be. Okay, so the molten pool will affect the mechanical property also, and the weld pool shape depends on the mechanical deformation. The weld pool shape depends on the mechanical deformation. So all are interrelated. So welding is a complicated physical problem or complicated problems. Okay, so that needs to be better understood, and that also can be better understood if only you develop the good fundamental in all the aspects. Okay. So the convection stirring changes metallurgical composition of the weld speed. Convection, the stirring. So even though the molten pool is having very lesser dimensions and it is existing for particular time, it is giving a much more effect. Hence, a thorough understanding needs to be done. so the different forces, the Maran convection, Lorentz forces, and there will be aerodynamic drag force, and there will be influence of plasma arc pressure, So that has to be properly understood. And so a suction of weld pool, as I said, it plays a major role. It is existing for few millimeters, but it is giving great effect in the welding process. So in the weld pool, shape is determined by arc metal interaction, heat flow and fluid flow, and thermal physical properties. And the flow is very complex. There is no analytical expression to describe the flow. Okay, we do not have any analytical expression to mention the fluid flow. So the convective heat transfer is also very important. Convective heat transfer is very important. That determines the shape and size of the weld pool, and the surface tension gradient, buoyancy force, arc force, drag pressure, and electromagnetic force will have high influence on the formation of the weld pool. So so you might have understood this much difficulties we have. Hence, the numerical simulation is better way to understand this phenomena, and better is very good to understand the thermomechanical behaviors, thermometallurgical behaviors, fluid dynamics behavior, and mechanical properties. So the driving forces which are governing the molten metal flow in the weld pool is of two categories. One is volumetric forces and one is surface tensile forces. So these are the two forces. Volumetric forces, which is due to the gravitational effects, and the surface forces, which will be directly acting on the molten pool. Okay. So surface forces will be directly acting in the surface, and volumetric forces will be influenced by the gravitational force. Okay. So during welding, what happens? Fusion zone forms, flow in the liquid takes place, then fusion zone solidifies. So you got to properly should have the time steps to be adapted to handle the phase change property. For example, so when a material is heated, there is one thing called thermal diffusivity. It's okay. Thermal diffusivity is mentioned by alpha. That is equal to K by rho Cp. But when you solve the problem, so in physically, the thermal diffusivity is being stated as the ability of the material to how fast the heat is penetrated into the material is called thermal diffusivity. Okay, so this is the physics. But while solving the problem, so the computer does not know anything. Computer does not know the physics. Then you need to properly allot the time step to solve the problem. How? So you will have something called stability criteria. So the stability criteria time t, I hope t is equal to del xi divided by 4 something. It is like that. The one equation is there. That is called stability criteria. That stability criteria should be properly followed in order to better define the time steps which may handle the real-time physics. Okay. So these things to be and also multiple driving forces for flow make the problem complex. So strength of the individual stems to be determined. You need to have the grid independent study and time independent study. Okay, so grid independent study means so if you are going to follow you are going to mesh the model. When you mesh the course mesh the model with the coarse elements, then the result will be different. When you mesh the element with the fine model, then the result will be different. But so you need to come up with the number of elements which may give the same results, or you need to attain a point where the solution will not be affected even if you change the mesh size. So that needs to be taken care. Then the conservation equations. So 3 conservation equations: conservation of mass, conservation of momentum, conservation of energy. So these are the 3 equations which should be used for understanding any physics. So if only you want to understand the temperature distribution, then you can only consider the conservation of energy equation. Okay, conservation of energy equation is only enough to understand the temperature distribution while doing your while solving your problem. If you want to understand the mechanical behaviors, the stress deformation, what will be the formation of stress, how will be the strength, then along with the conservation of energy equation, you should also consider conservation of momentum equation. Conservation of momentum equation. Okay, so if you want to consider the how will be the fluid flow, how will be the momentum will behavior, then you need to use the conservation of you need to consideration of momentum, energy, and mass equation. Consider of mass equations. Okay, so you need to use consideration of mass equations. Okay, so if only use three equations, you can understand the behavior properly. So it is very simple. If you want to analyze only the temperature distribution in order to understand the depth and width of the weld pool, then conservation of energy equation is only enough. You do not need to any equations. The conservation of equation is nothing but Fourier's law of heat conduction is the conservation of energy equations. Second, if you want to understand the what we call structural behaviors, then along with the conservation of energy equation, you should use conservation of momentum equation. Then if you want to understand the fluid flow behavior, then along with the conservation of momentum and energy equation, you go to use conservation of mass equations. Okay, so these three equations needs to be used. Okay, so the given one is conservation of momentum equation. So this is the source term. So all the equations are same. Conservation of momentum, energy, and momentum mass equation all are available in the software. All are available. Then where do we need to play? Where do we go to play? You can play only with a term called source term. Okay, this is the term with which you can play according to your physics or according to your problem. So here this is transient term. This is called convective term, and this is the pressure gradient, and this is the diffusion term, and this is the source term. Okay, so you need to play with the source term. So it's a governing equation for a thermal field, or this is being set as conservation of energy equation. So here also you can play with the source. This term plays a major role. So if you want to go for fluid flow analysis, then the source term plays a major role. This is being followed by the pressure gradient and buoyancy force, and the porosity formulation for phase change. In order to obtain the phase change, you need to consider this expression too. So generally titanium is being welded by this 4 method, and while welding titanium, great care has to be considered by to product the molten pool properly. And in the literature, there are the 3 heat source model, WH model, conical Gaussian, modified heat source model, or standard model, which are being used for understanding the behaviors, and WH heat source model, which consider the heat source, because the heat which is coming out from the arc or plasma may not be visible, and we don't know how the heat is entering, into the material. Okay, so the heat which is penetrating the material is being assumed as double ellipsoid. Okay, so this is the heat which is getting into the material. It is being assumed as the double ellipsoid, which is a frontal ellipsoid. One is frontal ellipsoid and is a real ellipsoid. So these 2 equations are being used if you want to use double ellipsoid heat source. And you can go for three-dimensional volumetric heat source model. So three-dimensional volumetric heat source model, we use the truncated cone. Okay, it's a truncated cone. So this is being used for properly capture the keyhole behavior. Okay, so this heat source may not be used for double heat source, may not be used to understand the behavior of keyhole welding process or high energy density welding process. If the energy density is less than 10⁹ watt per meter squared, is called as low energy density welding process. If the energy density is more than 10⁹ watts per meter squared, it is called as high energy density welding process. So for high energy density welding process, you can go for three-dimensional volumetric heat source model. For example, you can go for plasma arc welding process. You can study with this one, or you can go for laser. You can go with this three-dimensional volumetric heat source model. Okay. So sometimes the three-dimensional volumetric heat source model also being used by the researchers, which consider the logarithmic decay. Okay, so here it is a linear decay. The heat source, the heat intensity is decaying linearly. Here the heat intensity is decaying logarithmically. Okay. So how how you need to choose the heat source model. You need to choose the heat source model based on your weld pool shape. Okay, so here it is found that weld pool shape is neither decreasing logarithmically or linearly. Hence, a new heat source model is proposed. The new heat source model is parabolic constant heat source model. It is found that it is parabolically, the decay is parabolic decay. Hence, a parabolic heat source model is being proposed. So the parabolic heat source model being proposed, and it was solved by considering considering a triple integral which accounts the power. So upon which the equation, the constants are being found. So the parabolic Gaussian heat source model is being termed as Dinagran's model. And this is the equation because the supplied power is same, but the energy is same. Okay, so eta UA, the efficiency, voltage and current is same. So that is being distributed, being considered, and solving this equation, we'll be able to obtain the equation. This is the equation Q. I told the source term, this is this one which is going to be substituted in the source term. This is based on the heat source model, what you use. In the conservation of energy equation, the SU I told, the source term will be replaced with these equations. So I told this is a term, this is term QV, this is source term. In the QV, this equation will come, and the equation has to be substituted here to solve that. So I want to analyze only the temperature distribution in order to find out the width and depth of the molten pool or weld bit geometry. Hence, I am solving only the Fourier's law of heat reduction, and I applied proper boundary conditions, and a proper heat transfer coefficient has been assumed, and the thermophysical properties have been assumed, and properly say here the temperature gradient will be very high, and the fine element has been assumed here, and the coarse element has been assumed here and the ahead of the molten zone. So the assumptions are very, very important. You need to assume you should assume that it is constant, it is moving the constant speed, and proper thermal physical properties, and how will be the fluid flow. Fluid flow will be, the argon gas will be incompressible and uniform. So you need to properly understand to understand the temperature distribution. So we've used three models: conical Gaussian heat source, modified transitional heat source, and Dinagran's model. And Dinagran's model is able to better understand the weld pool behavior, better understand the weld pool, predict the weld pool and weld pool shape, which is compared with the one obtained through the experimentation, and it is found that the parabolic delay is being found by the Dinagran's model, and at the end of the welding, since there is no area for the heat conduction, the temperature, there will be no further material for the dissipation, because heat transfer is directly proportional to the area. Since there is no area available, the temperature rise will be there among all. Okay. So different weld pool have been compared, and you'll be able to compare the angular distortion, and you will be able to have the analytical modeling also. Through the analytical modeling also, you can determine the temperature, and this is the equation which will be able to find out the temperature behavior through analytical modeling, and you can have the better understanding of the residual stress, and you can compare with the experimentation, hole drilling method, and fine element method, and exact analysis, and it is found that they are having very good correlations. So apart from building and mechanics, now the wire additive manufacturing is playing like anything in manufacturing. So it is being used in the different applications to in aerospace applications and nuclear applications. So the fabrication of net-shaped complex structures for turbine blade, fuel tank, etc. can be better done, better obtained by using the wire additive manufacturing. So properly protecting the molten pool will be able to give the better property of the material when you go for wire additive manufacturing. So the material is manufactured through layer by layer by using the direct edge deposition method. So direct edge deposition, wire is melted to form the component through wire additive manufacturing. These are the marine propeller which has been manufactured through wire additive manufacturing. The nozzle manufactured through wire additive manufacturing through layer by layer technique, and which is found with very good thermomechanical properties, thermomechanical behaviors. And after once forming the materials, so you need to ensure the mechanical properties by tensile test. And the SS 321, which is one of the material being used for nuclear applications. So nuclear power plants, aircraft manifolds, and exhaust stacks and automotive components are being manufactured through wire architecture manufacturing. And so better microsection and macro properties are being availed in the viral academic manufactured product of this SS321. And we got incremental force and cracks are highly avoided by using the viral academic manufacturing. And so once the parts is manufactured, you need to extract the specimen with the different angles in order to ensure the better properties, and the properties have been found as good in the uniaxial tensile tests. And micro hardness tests have been conducted in order to better understand the hardness values, and which was the test was conducted using the ACM E927 standards. And impact tests have been conducted in order to understand the energy absorption and tactile tests. And in order to use the wire manufacturing technology for aerospace applications, so we have manufactured the material titanium grade 2, the single material through wire manufacturing, and through the wire manufacturing we have manufactured the titanium grade material over the titanium grade 2 material, and this is the interface layers. This is being progressed, and not much more work have been happened in the research community to study the multi-material behavior of the titanium grade 2 and titanium 9. The progress is being progressed. And these are the publications which we have done in the wire arc additive manufacturing and welding. And these are the reference which have been referred, without which I might not be able to deliver my talk in a better way. So I thank all the authors who have contributed for the research community. And thank you so much for giving me a wonderful opportunity, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, it was indeed a very nice talk and a lot of information, a lot of content.
Yes,
In
sir.
fact, the impression is that we should have had this talk in part 1 and part 2. Sir, if Chairman sir agrees with this, I think it's nice to know about it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. So in front of eminent professionals, and I got an opportunity to have a talk, sir. So it is my pleasure.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, sir. I think we have one or two questions are there. Vijay, can you please read the questions from the chat
Please,
box, or
please.
Yeah, I will, sir. So
Yeah,
there is
please.
a question from Dr. Venkateshwara Prasad regarding, he mentions that generally a solution annealing or possibility treatment is done after creating the part by VAM.
Yes, sir.
So the welding variables as such may not have any effect on metallurgical or mechanical properties. So what are your comments on this, please, sir?
Yes, sir. So the post-processing is necessary, but the post-processing is based on the is subject to the material and what is the energy source we use, sir. Okay. So based on that, by properly selecting the parameters and these things, we can avoid that. But it will be there. But we can avoid that by properly selecting the parameters, process parameters, and properly protecting the environment and materials. We can avoid.
See, Mr. Dinakaran, I am speaking, Venkateshwar Prasad speaking. See,
Please,
generally all this welding, no, you are doing with robo. You know all the parameters, you are fixing your WPS. And you don't require, I feel you don't require so much modeling for these things. It is a fixed parameters, always you are using it, and it's a full welding. It's
Yes,
not,
sir.
there is no base metal involved. It's a fully welded material. And once you are doing solution annealing or annealing, see, anyway, you have to do it. I don't think you can, these parts can
Yes,
be
sir.
used
Yes,
as
sir.
it is.
Yes, we are correct, sir.
100% requires annealing. And I don't think any this much, or I don't know, because I am not worked this one, but I did with some Inconel, we did some valve body creation, but we did not do this much. Only it's used robo and created the part and tested with anneal condition as welded condition, and there are some properties. And
Yes,
in addition, that one more thing you are mentioning is SS321 used. but SS321 will never be used as a welding consumable because SS321 is a titanium stabilized, and this cannot be used for during welding. Titanium will last. So SS321 always welded with SS347, and once you do welding with SS321, it loses its properties.
Yes, sir. Sir, we did not do multi-material manufacturing using SS321. We did not
Okay.
use. So we use single material manufacturing through VAM, sir. We did not go for this one. And see, what you're saying is okay. You are going to use Robo. You are going to use Robo, but compared to other, when you go for titanium, so you know the expense material cost, and when you go for Inconel, you know the material cost. So when you go, I said that the experimentation, there is no substitute for experimentation, sir. There is no substitute. But this numerical simulation or generally computational welding mechanics will help you to go for better experimentation. So you cannot avoid experimentation. It will help you to go for better experimentation. Here, certainly you can see the adverse effect of the temperature distribution. Adverse effect of the temperature distribution. So due to the temperature distribution, so for example, sir, I am another example I'm saying, sir. So the operation on the brain tumor, was not much more successful in the earlier days because the doctor who is going to operate that may not aware whether the brain is capable of taking that much temperature distribution or not. Because their constituents may withstand the temperature or not when laser heat is passed. He may not be knowing that. So because of which much more operation was not successful. Were not successful in the brain tumor operations. Now the doctor is capable of analyzing everything. He knows the brain constituents. He can pass the laser heat source and he can analyze the temperature distribution. Then what will be the effect of the temperature distribution to the particular human being? So that he can better understand, sir. Then he can come up with some solution and he can go for the operations with some ideas. Sir. So this numerical simulation, we can, if we use that will go some will help you to go for better experimentation. That's all thing from the numerical simulation, sir. So it will drastically reduce your experimental trials when you go for numerical simulation, sir. So hierarchical additive manufacturing, we are working on numerical simulation of hierarchical additive manufacturing also. So we are working. So that is under progress. So we do not bring much more model in that. We have worked on experimentation, but computational welding mechanics we have worked, and SS321 manufacturing we have done, and the titanium material and much more work is not available if you go through the literatures on multi-material manufacturing of titanium. So that we have initiated. So I consider the point what you suggested, and that also we will check and we will share if we get any result through Vijay Patel, sir.
Okay, no issues. But the thing is, normally we are doing generally a lot of welding. We don't do any modeling and all. It's a starting stage of this one's weldings. They have done it. But now only do the properties. You know what is welding? Yeah, we have only 4 or 5 variables. All these variables will be recorded, and with that variables, you are going to test the part after finishing completion of the welding, and you are testing it. That's all. Yes. That's the only. This one normally we follow it. But anyway. Because you are the expert, you did something. No, okay, just it's my. Yes, sir, as an expert, but not like research side.
I understand. I will understand better from the input also. So we have tested the benefit of numerical simulation already, sir. We have tested, and also we have reduced the number of experiment trials also. So we have done. So while doing hierarchical manufacturing, so if the fruitful results also, I will try to share with you in future.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
SS321 also you use only SS347 filler wire, and we never use 321 normally for welding. Okay, anyway.
Yes, sir. But here the compatible material SS321 we have used, and this experimentation have been conducted in the NIT Trichy by same Vasi said, the robotic welding process we have done. So we have published one article in the ASME journal. So it was having very good impact. And also we will try to understand the flow and the behavior further in our future research.
So you did not have any titanium loss in this one. I don't think any titanium will be there because it's
Yes,
a stabilized steel. Once
Yes.
you do welding with the titanium will lost in the, it's not melt in the arc, it cannot be transferred. So it will become a normal stainless steel, maybe 1880 normal 308 stainless steel will become.
Sir,
This is
no, sir, you are talking about the multi-material which was manufactured in the titanium 9 over titanium 2 grade 2. You are saying, sir?
No, I'm talking about 321 one. You're telling us 321 because titanium SS221 is a titanium stabilized steel.
Yes.
When you do welding it, due to the in the arc, titanium cannot be transferred and it loses. So it loses in the vapor. It does not go into the weld material. So then the weld material will be only normal stainless steel. It will not be stabilized stainless steel. It will be normal 308 stainless, 188 stainless steel will become.
Okay, sir. I consider. I do some literature study.
It was
Yes,
there.
yes, sir. I do some literature study, and I will try to find out. And if it is there, I will do some research, and I will come back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the ideas, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, any other questions or any queries from any other participants, sir? Please you can pose it over here.
Okay, I think
Yeah.
there are no further questions. If anything is there, you can forward to us. We will try to get the reply from the speaker. Okay, sir. So Vijay, you can continue.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So I would like to thank once again to Dr. V. Dinakaran for a wonderful talk. Very good insights. Considered to be a difficult subject, but appears to be made simple as such. And yes, there is a lot of things to learn further, and we seek towards it further. I would like to thank all the participants first of all for giving us a good response for this talk, and that shows the importance of weld simulation and the WAM process as such, which is upcoming for the various aerospace as well as nuclear applications. Thank you to all the participants for joining this forum. I hope you would take away few inputs from this talk. Then I would like to put on record the thanks to our immediate past chairman, Shri Ravi Kumar sir, who has been indeed supportive right from day one for this organizing this talk and giving all the support vis-a-vis the platform for hosting this talk also. Thanks to Trinity NDT for giving all the support for hosting this talk. Our chairman sir, we missed him today. He couldn't come as he informed earlier, and Shri Shiv Kumar sir, but we miss you for this today's talk. Mr. Sudarshan sir, as well as Mr. Vishwamurthy sir, our vice chairman of IIW Bangalore chapter. Thank you for your support. Our treasurer sir, Mr. Venkatesh sir, you are there, and after your busy schedule, you have come and joined for this talk. Thank you. I should also mention a big thanks to Shri Biliguru Vasu sir, under whose advisory and mentorship role we are conducting all these sessions, and this IIW Bangalore chapter activities we are taking forward. Sir, thanks to you for being with us all throughout our journey. Also, I would like to thank the staff as such at Trinity NDT, who though maybe in the background but has given a wonderful support for hosting this talk and making a very streamlined presentation and no issues in the presentation as well as the online session. Thank you, and thank you one and all for being with us today. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you, Vijay. Thank you all.
Thank
for
you,
joining.
Dr. Vijay Pitla, for
Thank you,
organizing a
Thank you.
wonderful lecture.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vijay, for organizing this program and bringing on one of the best speaker on this specific subject. Thank you so much.
Then
Thank you,
really
sir.
exhaustive.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for once again.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for the opportunity, sir, and
We-
to present
we-
this kind of eminent personalities and for
An
interaction.
very
Thank you.
important. So
Okay, sir.
it
We'll,
means we should give more time to him actually. So
Of course, sir.
better we can understand that. Thank you.
Definitely. Suggestion well taken. So thank you all, sir, once again for joining us. If there is nothing to discuss, I think we can.
yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, thank you
So
so
thanks,
much.
sir,
Bye.
Professor,
Bye.
EVM, Sudarshan, Mr. Venkatesh, all of you. Thank you so much once again. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Thank
you.
you all
Thank you.
the
Bye.
participants once again.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Good night.